Today's America's Cup Racing is brought to you by Myanmar.
Well, it was a very strange day, very wavy, choppy, wind all over the places. We knew that it was going to be hard, but wow, that was really hard.
Setting down at 3, 2, 1, setting down now.
Oh, hang on! Trouble at the mill! American Magic!
We were about a minute out and the breeze was 12 and a half, 13 knots. When we got up to the top, it just, very quickly it got very windy. We took what we thought was the correct thing to do and it bit us.
It's going to be a hard maneuver. It's going to be a real hard maneuver. 1, setting down now. Oh, lost the rudder here.
When I heard Dean say I'm going to lose the rudder here, I thought I better work on my escape route.
Take capsize.
Kia ora and welcome to Aotearoa, New Zealand. Talk about drama. That's how the first week of racing ended. American Magic are now in the fight of their life. We'll have plenty more of that later in the show, but let's go back to the beginning. The Prada Cup is the gateway to sailing's biggest show, the America's Cup. To take on the defenders, Emirates Team New Zealand, you must win the Prada Cup. The competition is ramping up. The Challenger Series starts with 4 round robins. That's 12 races in total. The team with the highest number of points at the end goes directly to the Prada Cup final. Each win is worth 1 point. The remaining 2 teams battle it out in the semi-final for that finals spot. So let's get to the action. First out of the gate, it's the originals, the New York Yacht Club's American Magic against the Royal Yacht Squadron's Emirates Team UK.
Start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Be on. My pitch.
And it's on. Prada Cup, race 1, American Magic against Ineos Team UK, and they are both away clean.
The most important drag race of Ineos's young career here so far. Are they competitive in this wind strength? We're going to find out pretty quick.
American Magic seem to have the slight edge, just really pushing Ineos, and eventually they had to tag.
One telltale sign here is Ineos is actually, they've struggled to get up and going in the light air, and they've been sailing with bigger jibs all the time because of that. Today, they actually, for the first time we've seen, they have a smaller jib up than their competitor. I find that really, I find that a good sign for them.
Copy that.
Looks like Ineos is going quite quick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They clearly made an effort in the pre-start to not engage, to keep that wide right position to windward, and maybe they're wanting to protect the right-hand side of the course, but right now they are going fast and high.
Well, this might become a surprise maybe to some people watching around the world, but I wonder what the chat is like on American Magic right now.
Thanks, Lappy.
You're going to pick up good left-hand pressure here.
I will. Crossing it by 5. Race beyond.
I'm surprised they didn't go further, all the way to ley line there, Nathan.
I think they must have got to that boundary a bit earlier than they wanted to. If American Magic can get to the boundary and make the top in 1, they're going to save a tack, and they're going to have split tacks at the top and starboard advantage.
And how about this, Ineos Team UK fans? Ineos Team UK on the first of 6 legs will round the top gate first, followed closely behind by American Magic. If anyone thought Ineos was going to have trouble, think again. It truly is game on in the Prada Cup.
Pressure looks good here, Giles. Left shift. Yeah, try and get it ripping a bit here, Giles. Easy to touch in.
They are cranking it close to 40 knots, Ineos Team UK, and look at the advantage they have on American Magic. And they'll jibe around that and head up for leg number 3 against American Magic. And right now, as we head to the halfway point of this opening race in the Prada Cup, they look strong.
We've really got to work on those, I think.
And a terrible bottom arc rounding by American Magic.
One word comes to mind when you see a little moment like that in a big race like this: pressure.
Good pressure, nice.
Shirley, you've got a close-up view of how Ineos Team UK are faring right now.
It looks a different boat to what we're used to seeing, doesn't it, Stephen? I mean, and they're that confident. They've, as Nathan said, they've been sailing their own race here. They've just been, you can see the big puffs of breeze dropping, and they're just sailing into the puffs, joining them together, and eventually getting to this top right-hand corner where it is so breezy.
Easy on trim just for a sec. Yep. Coming on. Good on flat now. My wheel. Yeah, you got it. Main on. Okay. Coming away. 3, 2, 1. Coming down. Easy. My wheel. Your wheel. Okay.
Halfway through the opening race in the Prada Cup. Remember, at the end of leg 2, the gap was 19 seconds.
This is a struggle getting worse right now for the Americans. Another tack.
American Magic finally get around and complete leg number 3.
I'm sorry, guys, but is anyone else thinking they've been sandbagging until today?
You went there. You went there.
But check it out. It's unbelievable what we're seeing. We've been talking all summer, all Christmas about what is going on here. You know, we've been saying, how are they so far behind? And then they're just coming out and just being dominant. Like, where did this come from?
Shirley, does this come as any surprise to you?
Not really. I mean, this is the game, Stephen, isn't it? Every day, just move it forward, and I think there'll be more to come, not just from this team, but all of them. And they have, you know, some of the best technicians and smarts in the business, every team. And so in 3.5 weeks, they can achieve a lot, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Bow down. Nice. Nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. My wheel. I've got it. Okay.
And that is the last rounding of the gate as they head on the homeward leg. Ineos Team UK, and the yacht you can see in front of you is American Magic, yet to complete the 5th leg.
Yeah, it's good. Finishing here, boys. Let's do a racing turn up to finish.
They couldn't buy a win in the World Series pre-Christmas 2020. Ineos Team UK win Prada Cup Race 1 and get the first points on the board.
Okay, awesome job, guys. Well done, guys. Nice work, guys.
Ben, how good does that feel?
Oh, it feels a little bit better than 6 losses or whatever it was. So, yeah, we left it a little bit late, but managed to find the pace when it counts on time in this breeze.
Congrats to you and the team.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go now to American Magic. Dean, 1 minute and 20 seconds behind. Can you tell us what went on out there?
It's you know, early days. It's one race, and you know, we're obviously, you know, would have much preferred to have come out with a win, but at the same time, it's a long series, and we've got to just keep improving.
The race to take on the defenders, Emirates Team New Zealand, has begun, and the very first point of the Prada Cup goes to Ineos Team UK. That's great news for Sabine Ainsley, who is keen to make history and 170 years of hurt and bring the trophy back to the UK.
I think the thing I love about sailing is the diversity of the sport. You know, there's always a different challenge, and that you're always learning, you're always developing new skills. And of course, you're out there on the water. We all love being out there on the water, challenging Mother Nature. So I think it's the most fantastic sport. First memory I had of the America's Cup was, I guess, back in '87 in Fremantle. You know, I think it's gone down in history as one of the best cups, just because you had the Fremantle Doctor, you had 20, 25 knots of wind every day. It was, I think, the last cup where they raced in the 12-metre class.
The America's Cup is America's again. It's the 4th successive victory in 5 days, ending the shortest America's Cup in 100 years.
I was a 10-year-old watching it on a telly back home in the UK. That and the 92 Olympics in Barcelona. Those were probably the two big sporting events which I remember as a youngster and really gave me the inspiration to try and learn more about sailing, be better at sailing, and perhaps one day have the opportunity to race in an Olympic Games or to race in an America's Cup. So I'm very fortunate that, you know, that's come true.
1 4 down, turning, that's pressure, it is just a little light.
I guess I'm a pretty competitive person, like most sportsmen. You know, I love the competition, really. I mean, I enjoy the whole process, and I enjoy the learning and the development, but I really love racing. You know, I'm not particularly good at losing, but that happens, unfortunately, from time to time. The trick, I guess, is not to make a habit of it. I mean, in any walk of life, you probably learn more from your losses, don't you? And that's the same in sports, certainly the same in the America's Cup. And you've got to have that determination and that motivation to keep going until the job's done. I don't like giving up on targets or on goals. So yeah, I think the trick is to set up the right organisation that can go, that has longevity, continuity, and that way you keep learning, you keep developing, and step by step you get there. Yeah, I think if I could hand over my 5 Olympic medals and take home the America's Cup, I think I'd probably take that trade because everything it means to the team here, the amount of effort people are putting into this campaign and the campaign before, and the history involved, what it would mean for us in British sailing. Yeah, I'd make that trade.
Right. Can the British make it 2 out of 2? Race number 2 is Emirates Team UK against the challenger of record, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
This is what we've been looking forward to. 2 guys, Nathan, or 3 helmsmen, that love to put their elbows out.
The Luna Rossa going to go around to Lure here, and they're thinking an easy hook. But man, that was a great tack by Ineos. This is a lot more combative than the last race.
You can see the clock. 20 seconds and counting to go.
Yeah, Prada's way late at this stage. Totally in control. Looks like a left-hand shift and in control by Ineos. Perfect timing to put themselves in this position and lead back.
A little further. 3, 2, 1, 4 down.
And they're away into race number 2 of the Prada Cup. And Ineos once again in a good position.
That's a high mood already.
Holy, look at how much higher they're sailing off this camera. They are not just going faster. They've got better height, and they've forced Luna Rossa to tack already to the unfaded side. So, wow, that's impressive. It's very impressive. And it's windier on the right. You can see Luna Rossa going to the left. It's lighter on the screen over there. It's definitely less wind where Luna Rossa are heading.
So if we can hold that shot for a second, this is really light air. It looks to me on the water, much lighter breeze in that area. You can see a puff from the upper left-hand side of the race course, but for the most part, this is still a right dominant race course as we see from the helicopter.
Ben Ainsley bossed that start, didn't he? I mean, that was textbook. It's white horses over here, and it's flat to the left. So it's just going to get better and better. They're going to get richer and richer.
2, 1, 4 down. That's course. Copy. Okay, 3.
Top gate for the first time, and once again for the second race in a row, it is Ineos Team UK leading on the downwind leg of 6. Let's check on the gap to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
2, 1, bending away.
Yep, full clear.
And the clock stops at 15 seconds, so a similar margin to that they had on American Magic. Some 40 knots being travelled by Ineos Team UK at the moment. If you want to know what that is in different speeds, that's around 46 miles an hour or 74 kilometres an hour, whatever country you use those numbers for. That's pretty quick on the water.
Put your head out the window in a rainstorm on the way home, Stephen, in your car, and you'll have a pretty good feel for what these guys are going through.
Turning up here. 2, 1, up all the way into a
Ineos Team UK round the bottom gate for the first time. They were 15 seconds ahead of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli at the top gate. What will it be at the bottom gate? Well, I think we can assume it comfortably if they've stretched their lead on the downwind leg.
Turning up. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Turning up.
22 seconds, so they've added 7 seconds on the downwind leg.
No higher than this.
Luna Rossa is not making the error we talked about before. They're keeping it close and they're waiting for their spot. So let's not give the British boat this race right now. They're actually sailing quite smart and obviously plenty fast on Luna Rossa right now.
It's getting lighter out here, isn't it? We'll be picking on moments back to back. Low moments better for pressure blends, anything.
Not laying the bottom gate, so probably another jibe here by the looks of it. Could be a big gain for Prada.
Turning. Again. 3, 2, 1. Hang on.
Ineos Team UK round the bottom gate for the second time. It's the completion of leg number 4. At the top gate, they were 23 seconds ahead. Have Prada made any gains? Or have Ineos Team UK lengthened out? Here come Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli to complete the 4th leg. And it's still 23 seconds, so no gains.
This is a pretty big split. I guess if you're going to be looking for something to wing it here a little bit, this is a big split. Chance at a game, but we haven't seen a left-hand shift all day, but it's a chance.
Right now, Kenny, the moment you've got to start hanging it out there. You've been following them the whole way around and they're not making errors. They're tacking, they're jibing well, their lay lines are good, the course geometry is going really well for them. So you've got to do something different. Even if you think it's the wrong thing to do, you've got to start doing something different so that you can actually force a situation.
Good pressure straight ahead.
If Ineos Team UK get 2 points on day 1.
I called it. No, I didn't. I can't even.
No one called this. Don't even.
Well, actually, someone did. Someone did call this today, and that was Shirley Robinson.
Shirley, did you really
Shirley?
call this? Did you call this today? Be honest.
I did call this.
You did?
And I think there is evidence. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've seen Ben Ainsley come back time and time again. He can turn it on, and I guess I have a glimpse of how hard the team have been working, and just seen some hope in the team as well, that they had solved at least some of their speed issues.
Well, they've cut 10 seconds out of the lead.
They got a little bit on the right-hand side a couple times, sailed patiently, stayed on the right-hand side of the race course, and now they got a split. But, oh, look how light it is in that upper left-hand corner, Nathan.
Well, that was the mistake American Magic made twice in the first race. That left-hand mark just looks like it's sailing you into less pressure, and so every time you go over there, you're just committing yourself to a loss. So,
Nathan, they're maneuvers that we've just never seen them this smooth. Something has drastically changed under the water to make these maneuvers so smooth, whether it's the software being used to trim the flaps, whether it's the actual foil shapes themselves. Incredible.
Ineos Team UK have the perfect start to the Challenger Series. They are 2 from 2 and 2 points and go to the top of the standings. What a way to start this Challenger Series.
So, Ben, the big thing that stood out for us was how smooth the boat is going. Is this a whole makeover, or are these just small bits and pieces?
The whole boat, frankly, has had a makeover. As you know, we can't do a huge amount to the hull of the boat, but pretty much every other component on the boat, be that the rig and sails, you know, the rudder, the elevator, the foils, the systems, how we control the boat, we pretty much changed everything. And again, that's credit to the designers and the engineers and the shore team. Those are the guys that work around the clock to make that happen. So we're glad that we were able to do them credit out here on the water.
So let's go across now to Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Jimmy Spittle is waiting to have a wee chat. You tried hard, but just couldn't drag him down, Jimmy.
No, we couldn't. They sailed very, very well today, and full credit to the NEOS team. They looked very, very sharp. Early on in the race, we obviously we went into damage control, just trying to keep it close and just wait for something to open up. Unfortunately, the way the course kind of set up, there wasn't really too many opportunities out on the left-hand side, so they rightly so protected the right. You know, we tried a couple of things up near the top, but yeah, just couldn't find a way around them. But yeah, again, full credit. They sailed very, very well in front then.
So day one starts with an upset. NEOS Team UK are 2 points up. They couldn't buy a win in the World Series, but this is a new year, a new regatta, and they are back in the game. We'll be back with more sailing after the break. Expect the unexpected. That's the lesson from day one of the Prada Cup. The previously underperforming NEOS Team UK docked out and cashed in, confidently winning both their round-robin races and set the Prada Cup alight to the delight of British supporters. After 2 races, it's NEOS Team UK with the perfect 2-2 record, while American Magic and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are yet to get on the board. So let's head to the action. Today's first showdown, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli against American Magic.
So officially race underway, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Round robin 1, race number 3, and they are off and racing. American Magic still not on their foils.
It's so high risk, isn't it? Pre-start, they were towing around just to stay on the foils. I mean, the Italians were doing double the speed coming off that line of their American opponents.
Good pressure in the exit.
I'm just positioned, the camera boat's right up near the top mark right now. The left turn, if they were to take the left turn, is going to send them into what looks like very light wind. So I expect both boats are going to need to position themselves for a right-hand turn. And just as I say that, I can see American Magic off the foil, completely parked right now. This is getting from bad to worse right now for Dean Barker and his crew.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli around the mark for the first time at the top gate in this third race of Round Robin Series 1. And you just know, if you look at that clock on the bottom right of your screen, that is going to blow out big time.
Brings a whole new world into these matches in this light air. Whole new world.
Touchdown, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Still with the lead, but both boats are basically coasting.
So Nathan, is there any puff coming to either side, to either one of these guys? I guess for the Italians, at least they're kind of upwind of the Americans. So if something comes to the Americans, it's probably coming to them first.
Well, Kenny, that's bang on cue right now. Luna Rossa up and foiling. They got that pressure nicely. This could be a huge advantage for them.
Good pressure in north side at the moment. Very good pressure.
These guys are going 40 knots in 8 knots of breeze. How does that happen? Oh.
Be a little soft out of this.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli about to finish and win race number 3 of round robin number 1. And why wouldn't you be happy after how this race has unfolded with calm conditions? But most importantly in this Prada Cup Challenger Series, Luna Rossa get their first point on the board and beat American Magic. Let's go on board. Francesco, congratulations. You pick up your first point in what was a very challenging race. How challenging?
It was very challenging. We are very, very happy. It's one of those races that you can win or lose very easily. Was really demanding for the boys. It's almost like harder for them in the lighter wind than the stronger wind power-wise. So they've done a fantastic job, really. The boat was always with enough power to pump, to take off. So I'm very proud of the team today.
Let's now go on board American Magic. Dean Barker on the helm, and Dean, quite simply, that's what you call a tough day at the office.
Yeah, it's call that a lottery. Yeah, it was pretty marginal. You know, you you question why we want to do that as part of the event, but anyway, it is what it is. So you know, it's going to swing in roundabouts, and yeah, obviously didn't go that well for us in that one.
Race 2 of day 2, and the spotlight is on the two originals, the Royal Yacht Squadron's Ineos Team UK and the New York Yacht Club's American Magic.
Turning up. Turning up hard. Yep. All the way, boys.
The American boat given a penalty. I mean, they just didn't avoid them in any way.
But I'm not so. Is that a penalty? Is that a penalty for the not getting into the starting line on time? I think that's what it might have been, Shirley. We'll have to double check that.
And let's just go back to the starts. We've talked about how important starts can be. Wow, this was important. And American Magic getting pinged for an early entry.
Yeah, this is all about setup and how you get into the race course. They're coming in early. Remember, they can't cross that small line, this line right here, until 2 minutes. And they're really worried about being too early to cross that line. They try to slow down too much. And surely, as we've seen, you get below that 20-knot barrier or so, you're likely going to end up in the water. That's exactly what they couldn't do. That's really the only thing they couldn't do, and they did it, unfortunately.
Ineos Team UK approaching the top gate for the first time and have come off their foils. You heard Ben Ainsley say to Giles Scott, it's pretty light up there. Well, it's very light.
Yeah, guys, I'm up here at the top mark, and it's about 5 knots at this top gate. But over on that boundary near North Head, it's about 12 knots. It's nervous moments. I can see American Magic. They are aiming at the top marks in this pressure, doing probably 30 knots. And this race is far from over.
You could walk faster than Ineos at the moment. Imagine looking behind. That is a car coming towards you at 40 miles an hour.
But are they going to park? They have to go through this. They have to navigate this same light air patch that Ineos is in right now. Ainsley's not even going to look at them. And they do. They park. They park.
Could that be the slowest mark rounding you have ever seen?
Oh, but trust me, on the boats I sail, I've gone a lot slower around a mark before.
American Magic are up and foiling, picked up a puff. They are absolutely ripping, and this race is getting tense.
Just as we're saying this, the Brits got up on the foil as well. So they're both going 30 knots and about 7 knots of wind speed. Unbelievable.
This is a shortened race. It was 6 legs, now it's 4. Shirley, what a race.
Lots of questions today about this boat's performance, and certainly Ben Ainsley has answered them.
Goodness gracious me. Ineos Team UK win race 1, round robin 2 of the Prada Cup.
Not sure if we made it or not. Yeah, no, I think we did it with 2 minutes.
Let us go on board Ineos Team UK and talk once again to Sir Ben Ainsley. Ben, you're 3-0. The smile looks great. How do you feel right now?
Oh, that was a pretty tough race, got to say, given what's at stake. And I actually think it was toughest for the grinders. They work hard all the time, but today their work was, you know, just that much more intense, trying to keep the boat up on the foil. And every manoeuvre, you know that if you come off the foil, that might be the end of the race. So it was a tough one, but the guys did a great job handling the boat. Yeah, Giles did a great job trying to find the breeze, what little breeze there was. We managed to muscle it around and get the wind, so we'll take it.
Let's head across to American Magic. I suppose the obvious question here is, Terry, what's going wrong and how do you turn it around?
What's going on? Well, we're off the foils in both starts, and so, you know, that puts us behind straight away. From my perspective, there's nothing to turn around. We got to just stay patient, trust in our team, which we do, and keep chipping along. There's a lot of meat left on this bone, so we're going to keep fighting.
So light air turns day 2 into a displacement-moded standoff. Frustrating for some, but Ineos Team UK grabs a 3rd point, and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli is on the board. It's day 3 of the Prada Cup Challenger Series. Another point-scoring opportunity awaits. Light air dictated yesterday's race results. Today, the wind is expected to head to the upper limits, and that could be the magic Terry Hutchinson is looking for. First up, though, it's Ineos Team UK and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
It's on. Round robin 2, race number 2. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, Ineos Team UK, away in some of the most challenging conditions we have seen to date. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, they go around that mark for the first time.
I think it's getting lighter, and I think as it gets lighter with this sea set, the boats are going to get harder and harder to sail.
Getting lighter on the bow.
Huge wind shift.
Off the foils, this is about to get turned on its head, this race, once again.
Pivotal moment in race number 2, round robin 2. As they touched down Ineos Team UK, they were trailing by 44 seconds at the top gate.
Race Yacht. This is the race committee. We will be abandoning this race. New start time to be advised shortly.
60 seconds to restart race 2, round robin 2. Ben Ainsley picked up a penalty for a boundary penalty the last time out.
Going behind again, so he thinks Luna Rossa is early, or he just wants the right-hand side. Luna Rossa puts the brakes on just to try to slow down and get him to catch up and get him in a tight spot.
Your wheel. My wheel. Tacking out of this. Tacking out of this. Copy. Okay. Your wheel.
Go.
Going straight. Going straight. Your wheel. Nice. Stand by tack.
Restart race 2, round robin 2. Luna Rossa, Ineos Team UK.
You know, Ainsley kind of got out of that a little bit, Nathan, but I'm surprised he hung on. He got a little greedy there for a second. He had a gap off of about 1 boat length to the right or to weather of Prada, and all of a sudden, instead of we're going to tack out of this, guys, he tried to hold and actually fell back a length or 2 before they finally tacked. Stephen, this is when we always refer to the first cross, winning and losing the start is almost irrelevant. It's almost like the clock at the marks. It's almost irrelevant. This is the relevance. This is what a start sets up, is the first cross.
How do you read this first cross coming up, Nathan?
Good pressure on here now. Nice.
Well, let's let them tell us all about it, but it looks like Luna Rossa might just cross.
Close.
Starboard tack advantage to Ineos.
Early call.
Got a stacking.
Take in. Ducking, yeah.
My wheel. Your wheel, your team.
Yeah, he ducked. Clearing transom 2-1 now.
So the real question is this boat speed that took the lead? Because they were attacked behind, you know, they've done 2 tacks versus 1, or was that a shift?
In 10 seconds. I think we keep going though. Pressure okay this way, isn't it, Ben? Yeah, it's hard to see it.
Doesn't look so bad for the Italians right now.
Looks like they've taken the lead back here.
Just like the first start of race number 2, Luna Rossa go around the top gate first, and they will be followed through, but a different mark rounding by Ineos Team UK.
Looks like we're going to have a split at the bottom marks here.
3, 2, 1, 2.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli maintain their lead in race 2, round robin 2. It was 10 seconds at the top gate. It's now 7 seconds at the bottom gate. So slight gain by Ineos.
And a split, even more importantly, a split. Now, it's puppy and shifty out there. We saw in that first leg with 2 lead changes. Having a split is a very nervous moment if you're the boat in front.
I don't know, mate. Copy. He's tacking underneath. Copy. Give me a split tack, right-hand turn. Copy. Right turn, split. Your wheel all the way through. Go. Board down now. Board down now. Board going down now.
Step down. Clear.
Yeah, clear. Here we go. Very wide. Okay, slow the turn here. Straight on line here.
Finally. We haven't seen a dead heat in a while, but Stephen, it's hard to make Stephen McIver speechless, and frankly, that just did, ladies and gentlemen.
But look at this, that shift looks like it's gone left, and it looks like Ineos are going to make the crossy. But what I was impressed about there was their tack, their bear away execution. That is not an easy maneuver to do. Coming in at full speed, dropping the foil, turning around, coming back where you came from. We saw teams struggling to do that a couple of days ago. And pulling off maneuvers when it counts is what takes the lead here. Now let's see what Giles Scott does and how he can shut this race down and give them no opportunities.
Ineos Team UK rounding the bottom gate to complete 4 legs of 6, and it is an official lead change.
One, running up.
Boats go different marks, but this is a pretty substantial lead.
This is a big cross in this race.
Okay, little speed build there. Nice. Yeah. Just holding it this left, isn't it? Yeah. Fading a little bit.
The question is that looks like quite a substantial lead.
Good lead, and now what the tacticians are doing is talking about that race course geometry. Which side do they want to escape this top gate towards? Where do they think the pressure is?
If can't get on Giles up well. Yeah, my pitch. I think we'll use that right to ease in.
Little comeback by the Italians. This race is not over. This is a 1-mistake race right now, Stephen.
Ineos Team UK around the top gate for the final time. Their advantage at the last gate was some 26 seconds. That lead has been cut. 12 seconds now. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli are not going away.
Check out the powerhouses going there.
I don't think he'll get one and in to finish there.
Shirley, coming down to you on the water. Is there an opportunity here, wind-wise, for Luna Rossa to get back into this one?
Oh, Nathan, I mean, to me, Ineos now looks like they're on the right jive. There's quite a lot of pressure coming from the left-hand side of the track. They look in the best spot.
Down a touch.
Looks easy now. Take her home.
So after a restart and a reset, it's turned into a peach for Ineos Team UK. They go 4-0 in the Prada Cup Challenger Series.
Nice work, gents. Awesome effort there.
And in come Luna Rossa. 18 seconds the margin.
Race number 2 is a big one for American Magic. They're still searching for their first point, and their skipper, Terry Hutchinson, well, he's still searching for his first America's Cup win.
The America's Cup, what's it mean? I mean, it's part curse, it's part lifetime ambition, and for, I guess, my generation of sailor, it was always seen and is seen as the pinnacle of our sport. 1983. I left school at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, walked out of my Catholic high school and straight into the local sailing pub and sat there and watched, really history for our sport. That 14-year-old kid watched Dennis lose. You think about the change that happened on that day, and you think about what Dennis and Tom and the Stars and Stripes team did in 1987. I mean, what an incredible story. What an incredible display of comeback. And that was, yeah, that probably got me hooked. In 2003, I sailed for Dennis on Stars and Stripes, which he took me to his house. You walk into the house, there's the America's Cup. You know, I go into a quiet room and I call home and tell my wife about, you know, I'm standing in Dennis Conner's house looking at the America's Cup. I mean, you know, just shoot me right now. Unfortunately, we didn't do that well on the water, but again, it was another really good learning. You know, the funny thing about this game is you probably learn more from the defeat than you do from the victory. I think at the end of the day, the best part of it is in front of us. This is pretty out there, and it's pretty tip of the spear. More people will be on top Everest this year than will sail on an AC-75. And yeah, I mean, there's a select group of sailors that have the capabilities to race one of these boats properly. For me personally, it's been a 22-year career in chasing it, and quite honestly, I just want us to win the regatta. You know, you walk into a room full of sailors, and there are guys that have won the cup and there are guys that have not. So I think you want to be on the side of the room that those are the guys that have won. When we won the Louis Vuitton Cup in 2007, I went up and my family was standing right there, and my wife looked at me. She goes, "This is not what we came here for." And she's right. So this is very much of a similar situation. It's part of the pathway to the America's Cup, and so, but I would suspect when you walk into the foyer of the New York Yacht Club, and there's that table with the light beaming down that is the void of the America's Cup, it's only replaced by one thing.
After the break, Terry Hutchinson and his team, American Magic, go in search of their very first point. Ineos Team UK are the story of the Prada Cup. 4 out of 4. They've become the team to beat. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli were hunting 2 points today. The Brits scuttled that plan. Will the heavier wind conditions work in their favour? Let's head to the course. It's American Magic versus Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Both boats are way out of position right now, aren't they?
Wow. Over 20 seconds late, but the amazing thing is, well, yeah, Luna Rossa, we're going to see a dial-up. We could see an easy starboard tack, the boat on the right-hand side on starboard tack. Oh, tripping over themselves.
Ready, flag, flag.
Oh.
Dial down.
Coming back up, coming up.
Protest by the Italians. We're going to see the Americans in trouble here right now, is my guess.
But Luna Rossa off the foil. It's another bad pre-start entry by American Magic. 3 in a row now.
Both boats are off the foils. No penalty. No, so they must have deemed that Luna Rossa was moving and didn't give the other guys the opportunity to stay clear, but I'm shocked at that.
Well, now that both boats are up on foil, it's even still, you know, American Magic are up high. They're going to jibe into position. Prada are going to be tacking into position. It's all about time on distance for both boats here.
Now it is race start. 10 seconds and counting.
Bearing away a little. Full speed, go. Go, go.
Clear start.
You heard Jimmy Spittle say it. Full speed, go, go, go. And we are underway. The final race in round robin phase 2. This is race number 3. We're on board American Magic, trailing Luna Rossa out of the gate.
Little drag race. American Magic hanging in there in a really vulnerable spot, but eventually Prada has the ability to tack. They're going to go into this zone, and the Americans have to give them the opportunity, but oh, they're...
Looks like he tacked early.
Huh.
Tacked early ahead of the boundary, confidence that they were going to make that cross. Tight cross coming here. That's a beautiful lee bow, isn't it?
Man, oh man, American Magic just put themselves in a dominant position. Don't get too slow if you're Dean Barker, but You like the control of the situation right now, that's for sure.
Standing by. Crossing.
Oh, Luff coming in, big Luff coming, oh, close. That's quite aggressive by Jimmy Spittle there.
I'll stay here, Goody. Turning down a 5.
Protest by the Italians for a Luff. This ought to be interesting.
Top gate for the first time, and it's American Magic around the mark first, followed closely by Luna Rossa, 6 seconds behind.
Straight into a jibe out of that top mark for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Wow, look at that rain on the onboard shot. There's plenty of rain coming across the course.
The wind's gone more to the left, so it's been really hard for American Magic to get, to get back over. They made a good gain. I mean, they have been fast on this downwind leg.
Bottom gate for the first time, and American Magic in conditions that are challenging everyone. Getting around it. It was 6 seconds at the top gate. And 13 seconds at the bottom, so they've made a wee gain.
Both boats rolling straight into attack out of the bottom mark. Dean Barker here, along with tactician Terry Hutchinson, will be not letting them get a sniff into this race. Luna Rossa very close to that boundary on that far side. And
boundary penalty Italy, boundary penalty Italy.
There you go, out of bounds. That's going to be expensive. That's not what you need when you're behind.
Italy, you have about 1 boat length to go.
We've seen a couple shaky situations where including the very first tack of the race, where Luna Rossa attacked in kind of a weird spot, and it almost kind of looks like you called, Nathan, that they don't know exactly where the boundary is on that onboard computer.
American Magic at the top gate for the second time. They led by 13 seconds at the bottom. Have Luna Rossa made any gains on the upwind leg?
Touched 48 knots going around that corner.
No gains. The deficit increases for Luna Rossa to 27 seconds, losing 14 seconds on the upwind leg. Shirley on the water. American Magic looks strong today.
They do, Stephen, and to me it looks like they've got wheels. They've got a little bit of extra, both upwind and downwind. And when they get free from the other boat, they do seem to be extending.
Heading towards the top gate for the last time, 35 knots, American Magic. This will be a huge weight off the shoulders if they continue on and win this race.
Well, tactically, they're sailing well today as well. You know, a lot is being made of Terry's position on the boat and his position, and not only as a tactician, but as a grinder. But unfortunately, we can't hear him because his comms are down. But we've heard a lot from Paul Goodison, a lot from Andrew Campbell.
Sorry, just to interrupt, the elevated voices here. Hard bearaway coming up.
American Magic flying into that gate for the final time, and they were flying.
Little squall here.
Whoa, hang on. Trouble in the middle. American Magic.
And they are over. You can hear the elevated voices going into that one. Wow.
Stand by attack. Stand by attack. Attack.
Try and get some comms to see everyone's okay on board. Luna Rossa attacking. They're taking it easy here at the moment as well. Big puff must have come across the course.
Chase boats now getting to the attention of the American Magic crew.
We counted all 11 people when we had a vision of the boat, so it looked like all people were accounted for, all 11 crew members.
This is the umpires. USA has retired. USA has retired. The race is awarded to Italy.
So American Magic capsize and retire, and this is how it unfolded.
Okay, so I started seeing the bottom of the jib flapping there, and all of a sudden you see a little foam on the water, a little spray coming off the water. It's like, oh boy, this looks really windy right now all of a sudden. And see that spray blowing away really hard, really fast? But Nathan's exact. Look at everything's luffing, everything's flooded. Oh, the leeward running backstay.
is still on.
The leeward running backstay stays on, and it's hooked up against the mainsail. They can't let that mainsail out. The leeward runner is still tight. The leeward runner never got released.
Disaster for American Magic. They handed what was looking to be a certain win to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, just when you'd thought you'd seen it all. The big question now is, where to from here?
I don't know much about what happened. I've seen a video of the maneuver and it's just horrific.
Heading down at 3, 2, 1.
You don't want to see that for anyone, you know, either your own team or any other team.
You could see the foam off the water, so it's like, uh-oh, big squall, big squall. They felt it coming. That's why they tacked around that mark, to try to tack around.
You know, we're going out there racing hard against one another, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's a sporting contest, and we want everyone to be safe, and we want everyone to be racing.
Lost the rudder here.
So I just, you know, feel for those guys, for Dean and Terry, the rest of the team, and I really hope they're able to sort things out and get back on track. No one wants to see that.
The America's Cup is a design race, as much as it is a race on the water. For American Magic, it's now a race against time. There's going to be some big hours in the repair shop. Can they get up and running and back on the water?
I drink out of our punch bowl pretty heavily, so I'm a little bit biased, but I have the utmost confidence in us to do what we need to do in the amount of time, because we've done it for the last 3 years. So it feels a little bit of business as usual.
Drama and controversy. It's always been part of the America's Cup, and this, the 36th edition, is no different. The teams will now take a well-earned rest, but the flying monohulls will be back on the water soon. The race for the Prada Cup is far from over.
Today's America's Cup Racing is brought to you by Emirates.